Namaskar, my dear friends. I am back. Okay, we'll do it again. It is time. I will talk about Save Soil. It took a while for me to actually talk about this because I didn't just want to say things because of the trends. But I feel like it is time for me to speak, not because of social situations, but because I finally have a plan. I have a plan in my brain. So, save soil. Let's make it happen. But the question is, how will I make it happen? I know Sadhguru was talking about the most important thing is for policy changes because that's just how our society really works. Not everyone's heart is into it, so we have to make something else where everyone has to abide by saving our planet, even if their hearts aren't turned on yet. Sad to say, that's just really the reality of the world we're in right now. And yes, I have talked about it in my social media. And if I just talk about save soil, save soil, save soil, it has to be impactful where someone's actually going to sit there and listen to me talk about it. But I think the more personal it is, a video that I would create, I hope it would have more impact on listeners and followers. So yes, number one, I have talked about save soil, maybe intensity not there, but it will improve. Second, send letters. I have sent letters. Oh my god, this is so funny. So I have sent letters to 2 countries because I identify myself in 2 countries. So one is the United States. Okay, they probably receive a lot of spams, but I would assume I'm in the spam list. So okay, how can I make it impactful? I don't know yet. But the second letter that I sent to is to the Philippines because that's where I was born. And so I sent it to the office of the president's email. And then I got a response and I was like, oh my god, let me see this respond. And then when I opened the email, it says, oh, for any complaints, send it to this email instead. So I think the letter that I sent them, they think it was more of a complaint that somebody needs to address, not the president. So yes, that's where we are right now with our Save Soil progress, at least on my end. So number 3 is where I really have to sit and think, what can I really do? So I have to be really creative in saving our planet, saving our soil. And this is what I have devised to be able to actually do something about saving soil. Number 1 is to really study the soil. Not like study soil in a lab. Okay, hear me out. I have been a plant lover ever since I was young because my mom have huge gardens and I kind of grew up in it and then I love it. I have a lot of plants. You can look at these pictures. So when I mean like studying the plants, I think this is the first step because I'm a hands-on learner. I need to learn how our plants are, how the soil is. So it's interesting because I have a variety of plants. So I kind of know, okay, this type of plants react this way with the amount of light or this much watering or this type of soil. So I think that initial understanding of how living things around us, especially plants and the soil, like interact with us, like studying how they are so I can be able to be a better part of the ecosystem where we all coexist. I can be a better coexisting creature with them. So I think the initial part where I study these plants is a crucial part. But because this is the time I have where I can't really do much, at least this I can do. I can study plants. I can study the soils. I'm also trying to compost. So I cut my vegetable waste, fine pieces, and then like include it in some other soil that's been like dried up and really dead. So I kind of try and revive it. If I buy plants from the local plant shop, she usually have pots and pots of just pots with soil where plants have died from. So it's just like on the side. So every time I buy plants from her, I would ask her like, oh, if I can have these pots with dried up soil, dead soil in it, where plants have died from. And she'd be like giving me the face and she'd be like, okay, you can have it. And so this soil I would put in a bag and then I would include all my vegetable peelings, all my food waste in there, and then just like wrap it up, keep it in the dark and leave it for a while and see how the soil revives. I've tried it once so far, it's been good, so I have next batch in there. So again, you guys, my composting is for studying purposes, how basically I can understand our ecosystem in this building where I am not so close to the earth. I'm trying my best here, okay? So I'm also learning propagating, like how I can multiply these plants, like with their buds, with their but usually with this, it's just usually when a baby plant grows, I transfer it, and I learn a lot about these plants. And yeah, I've talked about the characteristics of plants because all plants are very different, just like any other human beings, kind of learning how they are different from each other. I know. You know what's interesting? There was a video that Sadhguru said, like, okay, how can you save soil? It's not about, oh, composting and you'll have a really nice vegetable garden in your backyard. It's just cute. But not really the solution. To be fair, guys, yes, what I'm doing is just cute. However, because I feel like my strides are not yet so impactful, at least I'm looking at it in a perspective where I am preparing myself for the bigger steps when I have the time and I have the resources to actually execute it. So here comes the big steps. What I'm going to do in the future. Sadhguru has talked about agroforestry a lot, which is a means to save our soil, and I have actually done my research about it. Research meaning scratch the surface. So I need to go into it deeper. So I was thinking hopefully in the future I could advocate for agroforestry, but the first thing I need to do is actually try and execute it. I can only really be effective if I understand agroforestry. So the goal is hopefully maybe within 4 years after my commitment, I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm really gonna do it. Of course, I need to be financially stable too before I'll execute this because I have a daughter. But I think I can make it happen. Let's make it happen. But I will try agroforestry and see how it actually works, and then I could start in like a small town and apply what I learned, and then still talk about it. How social media is. Just having a voice where some people actually listen is very powerful. Because I'm given this privilege to actually speak and hopefully people listen, then I have to speak for our soil. I haven't really decided on where to do it, either in the United States or in the Philippines, but I think more so in the Philippines because I have more resources there. Really, we'll see how it goes. Check this out in the next few years. And I think one other thing that I need to continuously do is talk about it. Because, oh my God, you guys, okay, if you just think about it, yeah, I'm gonna die. Maybe if we don't do anything about it, doesn't really affect us that much, but because we're gonna die. But thank God I have a daughter, so I must do something about it. I must do something about it for my daughter. I cannot leave this planet in a worse condition for her. It's just too painful. Like, I would swap my situation for her if she's gonna have to suffer more than I would. For those of you who have kids, for those of you who don't have kids, maybe you could relate or not relate. For our children, for our sons and daughters, we have to leave this planet a better place for them. Let's make it happen. Namaskar.